More than 20,000 people a year are dying from these infections, and as many as 2 million get sick from. What's become apparent is that these nightmare infections are being fueled by the overuse of antibiotics, creating bugs we can't kill. But the more I looked into it, the more I saw there was another dimension to the story. It turns out most antibiotics aren't even used by humans. They're used on farms.
All right, all right, all right. Carnivore Soldier coming at you from Austin, Texas. Another early morning here. It's Sunday morning. And I just read an article that I did post on the community and the Facebook page, but I just want to share it with y'all. I am a huge believer of informed consent. And that's something that has basically left our society. It seems that anyone can do anything and feed it to you and not inform you what's in it or how it's going to affect you. And even with drugs, with food, you can, anything that we're ingesting, you have to be your own advocate because no one is looking out for you. And that's a fact. I had no clue any of this was going on until I became a carnivore and started actually researching. And people make fun of do your own research now. When I grew up, we didn't have the internet. We had the Encyclopedia Britannica or the World Book of Knowledge, and we had the library. And we all learned how to do our own research. And it's something I carry forward this day and something that I encourage my son to do. You have to do your own research. You can't just trust experts because experts will continue to do what's in the best interest of whoever's paying their bills. And that's a fact. So we have right now the FDA, which is the Food and Drug Administration, which are funded by the food and drug companies. Who do you think they are looking out for? They are looking out for where their funding comes from. And that's just the way the government works. So you have to do your own research. So I'd like to share a couple things I found online. The first is an article that talks about what is in our fast food supply. And it's kind of disturbing. I'm just going to drop it in here real quick. Okay, this is an article that I found. Actually, we'll make it larger. This is an article I found on Zero Hedge, and Zero Hedge is a great news outlet. It's a business news outlet, so any news that's related to business, these guys write about. And this is about contraceptive and antibiotics detected in top 10 popular fast foods. This is a report they did. So this group, Moms Across America, not the FDA, Moms Across America, submitted food samples from 10 popular fast food companies. And the companies they picked, I'm going to read them off real quick. McDonald's, Starbucks, Subway, Chick-fil-A, Burger King, Taco Bell, Chipotle, Dunkin' Donuts, Wendy's, and Domino's. So they ordered the same meal several times. So it was not just one sample, it was multiple samples. They sent them off to labs to be tested to find out, hey, what's in our food here? What are people being fed? Everything was kept in its package. Everything was sealed, frozen, and mailed to a health research institute. At the laboratory, the food and packaging were ground up and then tested for veterinary drugs and hormones. With the exception of Chipotle and Subway, all food samples tested positive for veterinary drugs. And this is super disturbing because veterinary drugs have been ingested into our food line. And now when we eat them, we get exposed to those drugs. And this is the genesis of these superbugs that are coming out, these drug-resistant bacteria that we see in hospitals everywhere. And there's a great documentary. So you can go ahead and read this to get more information. I'm not going to go into detail on everything about this, but the fact that all fast food chains were affected is pretty, and with pesticides, there's all kinds of stuff in here you can go into. It's much more involved in that, but I just want to focus on the veterinary drugs because the veterinary drugs, typically you're talking antibiotics, and the antibiotics do a couple things. One, they protect the chickens or the animals from catching disease. But the other thing they do is they actually fatten the animals so they weigh more, so that the producers make more money because you're buying by weight, right? So it's disturbing. And there's a great video, and I'm going to share this now. And this is a YouTube documentary called "Why is Chicken Illegal in Europe?" And it's a short documentary, definitely worth watching. It's only less than a half hour long. It's 27 minutes long. It's from a channel called Evil Food Supply. And I recommend, if you're out there, follow this channel and check out their documentaries. I've already posted a video about dog food and how it's made and how it's basically slowly poisoning your pets. And what's funny is the things that are slowly poisoning your pets are the exact same things in our standard American diet. So pets are suffering from the same diseases we are because they have the unfortunate circumstance of being fed by us. And pets in the wild and pets growing up with the Inuit or with the Maasai are being fed scraps. So they are eating real food because those people eat an ancestral diet. We're not doing that. We're eating manufactured food and feeding manufactured food to our dogs and cats. And the history behind that starts from World War II. It's very interesting. Check that documentary out as well. But this documentary here, it's really good. I'm going to play a little bit.
For the past 2 years, I've been investigating the emergence and spread of nightmare bacteria, superbugs that are increasingly resistant to even the strongest antibiotics. The bacteria are fighting back and they're defeating the drug. I've been tracking the phenomenon through hospitals around the country, where doctors have been dealing with patients infected by these superbugs. I found outbreaks that have paralyzed some of our best hospitals.
And no matter what we did, the bacteria was still spreading.
More than 20,000 people a year are dying from these infections, and as many as 2 million get sick from them. What's become apparent is that these nightmare infections are being fueled by the overuse of antibiotics, creating bugs we can't kill. But the more I looked into it, the more I saw there was another dimension to the story. It turns out most antibiotics aren't even used by humans. They're used on farms.
Among the many valuable new products created in...
Okay, so that gives you the idea. It's a setup. You guys definitely need to check this video out. Most antibiotics that we're exposed to aren't meant for humans in the first place and aren't used on humans. You always hear that these superbugs are being driven by doctors overprescribing antibiotics. That may be a small percentage of what's happening and contributing factors, but the main overwhelming contributing factor is antibiotics used in our food supply. This is why it's so important to actually find local farmers, local chicken farmers, local eggs. And also in this video, they do tell you how to identify chicken and eggs that are healthy to eat, even in the grocery store. But I would go beyond that and actually look outside the grocery store and look to your local communities. See if you can find someone that does have real chickens and real eggs being raised that you can get and you can have processed at a local meat processing place. Will it be cheaper? No. Will it be much healthier? Yes. And this documentary is a little bit disturbing because they do show people that have contracted very serious infections due directly to what they were eating, chicken. And it's not just chicken, it's beef and pork too. Finding your local sources of meat is the healthiest option. Not everyone can afford it. If you can't afford it, do what you can. But at least if you're going to buy this stuff, I believe you should be informed. So this is my informed consent for you. Buyer beware when you're buying chicken and eggs, and at least be able to identify, be educated and be able to identify what may or may not be loaded with these antibiotics and what may or may not be a healthier chicken or egg to buy. So at least you have options. Now, some people, if you're on a tight budget and you have to eat what you have to eat, then you're still doing 1,000% better than the standard American diet. And eggs are pretty good option typically, probably better than chicken. The cheap chicken, there's a reason it's cheap, and just buyer beware on that. And then any fast food chicken is going to be the cheapest chicken because chicken is chicken and they are making the maximum profit. So they are not going to buy top grade chicken. That's just the way it is. Most restaurants won't, because restaurants aren't even selecting their chickens. They're buying it from food supply companies, and food supply companies are looking out for their best interest financially. So your best options are buying chicken in a grocery store or directly from a market or a butcher or from a local farmer. And that's the best options you're going to have. When you go out and start eating chicken outside of the home, prepared by someone else that you're paying to prepare. They are buying the cheapest chicken they can buy, guaranteed 100%. You're not getting great quality chicken. Even places, I used to think that going to Chick-fil-A, which is an American standard chicken place, was like a super healthy option. I really thought it was one of the healthier options out there, and I thought burger places were bad. Now I know that I will never go there again, and chicken places are definitely not healthier than beef. I mean, even fast foods, I would prefer to go get beef patties at almost anywhere. Almost. McDonald's has proven to be good. Wendy's has proven to be good. Then go get chicken. So just some musings this morning. I just want to let you guys know that I care about you, and this is my informed consent for you. And if you like my content and what my channel puts out on a regular basis, please like and subscribe to the video. And I really appreciate that. And also, you can join and support the channel if you like. All I got to say is stay strong and overcome. Carnivore Soldier out.